I want to welcome you to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaya Diamond. What's up, people? How you doing? It is a great day. And you guys know, oh my gosh, we have an author on the show. I absolutely love authors. I just wrote an article on Newsbreak on how authors are amazing people. They create nothing from something and something from nothing. I mean, it's just amazing. I love it. I absolutely love it. And we have our next guest, Miss Wendy Jordan on the phone. On the phone. I'm gonna say on the camera, on the Zoom, on the whatever. She's here with us, and we're gonna be talking with her about her new book and all the things that she did to get it. But I want to welcome her first. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Oh,
So privileged and proud to be here. Thank
oh,
you for.
thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for being on the show. Yay. All right. So listen. First of all, I want to thank you again. But I want to find out, what's your journey like? I mean, where are you from? I mean, how did you come about doing a children's book?
Well, I have a lot of children. I do. We have 6 children together. And
Wow.
so that now we have 12 grandchildren. One of them was adopted. And Miracle, A Birthday Story, is a nonfiction book. It's a true story about a bison this past year that was abandoned by her mother, young first year mom. And as the story developed from, she was born in early May, it just seemed to be a parallel to it was such a sweet thing that was happening. I have a farm here in North Carolina. I'm actually from Florida,
Oh,
and I
nice. That's where
moved
I'm
to.
sitting at right now.
Oh, you're in Florida.
I'm in Florida.
Oh, are you a Florida girl
Yeah.
too?
Well, I'm not an original Florida girl, but I
Oh,
am now.
okay. Okay. Well, I grew up in North Florida, which, if you're familiar with Florida, then you know that's kind of like Georgia.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's not what a lot of people imagine of Florida, though it has its own distinct way about it. When I meet people from Europe, they think we're all from Texas when we have a Southern accent, that Georgia accent usually when you're from North Florida. But I grew up there on a large farm. And then when I moved to North Carolina, I was 38 years old. And I moved here to marry my husband. We met in Puerto Rico in 1999. So it's been a long journey. We have a blended family. We're uh, unique in that all of our children now live close by. We have one set that lives in Georgia, but that's not that far. But you asked me what brought me to write a children's book.
Yeah.
Just having so many children in my life, but honestly, this story is so related to adoption that
Mm.
I have to say that one of my concerns after Fritzy, my granddaughter, was adopted at birth. And so, it concerned me, how is my daughter going to deal with introducing her? So I did some research and I didn't find a lot of books. Are we still on, Yaya? I don't see.
Yes, we are still on.
Okay. Okay. Um, so that was another reason I found it to be um, uh, something that was hard to find for children, young children. If you're
Right.
going to introduce, or they start asking questions, because of course we all want to know where we came from.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that? So my daughter and I had some conversations about that. And Fritzy is very smart. She is unusually uh, intellectual, and she's 7 years old now. And so, she has started to ask some questions because she has a sibling that's older and one that's younger. And she just is very intuitive. But when the story happened with the bison, the baby that was born, that's how Miracle came to be. The
Wow.
story of Miracle. And it's a true story.
Wow. How long have you been writing?
Well, I started writing in high school because when I was in the 11th grade, I had a wonderful teacher. She was very young too. I didn't really realize how young that was to be a teacher. She was about 24.
Mm.
And she was very uh, encouraging to me. And this was an advanced English class with literature. And so that was where it started. I, you know, in learning creative writing, she just encouraged me. And I think that it's true that I come from a family, it's a DNA thing. I come from a family of storytellers. And that's what a good book is. It's a story. And if you can tell it and keep it to where it keeps someone's attention, it's a really good book. And that's what I like to read.
Wow, wow. You know, you've written a story about a true story. I mean, a fact, not a fiction. Have
Mhm.
you ever written a fiction book? And what inspires you to write?
Um, really, this is it, that's kind of to me, reading is like a need. I need to read. In other words, I'm searching for something. And that's, it shows up in different writers, I think, the different styles. So I don't gravitate to um, fiction or fantasy. That's just not my interest. And I'm sure that a lot of people do. And that's a beautiful thing. And poetry and things that are completely outside of the realm of truth, that's fine. But that's my brain usually goes to the need, kind of like when you're hungry, you need to eat something, and I need information. So the most beautiful books to me are information that is useful. And I think that's the style of writing. So when I started writing, I was writing about my grandparents. The farm in Florida where I grew up, my it was a large farm, about 1,000 acres. And my grandfather being a hardworking farmer, American family, large family, raised uh, registered Charolais, which is the white cows that you've probably seen.
Hmm.
And so I learned a lot. I learned a lot from both of my grandparents, large family, 8 children, and the oldest being my dad. And I lived there too. We all did, really. And my dad still lives there, and lots of my aunts and uncles. So the history there. So I started writing about my grandfather. He's a really interesting man, and he was in the war in World War II. And I think, and those were the stories that I was writing in high school because I actually lived with them at the time. But anyway, back to what inspires me, I guess truth, and with the thought of what feeds me. You know what I'm saying? What I'm
Yeah.
hungry for. And if I can create a story that introduces it, like with Miracle, for any child of adoption, they can relate to the, the the need to belong, but also to not have to attach yourself to where you came from, because most of us do.
Yeah.
To we want to talk about our roots, our blood, our maybe your dad was an astronaut or he was a lawyer or a candlestick maker. It doesn't matter. It's who you feel kin to.
Right.
And imagine if you're adopted, just imagine learning that. And that has been a concern of mine ever since the adoption. So needing a tool to have a story, and the story of Miracle helps, I think. And I've had a lot of so far some success. I think Amazon named the book was released on October 25th, and Amazon named my book #1 in the blended family group.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you, because that was a really big booster. Surprise too. But I think it's because there's not a lot written in the children's genre for, in this subject. It's a heavy subject. And
Yes, it is. Yeah. Wow. Wow, that's amazing. I just have to say, did you illustrate all of the pictures in there? I mean, who drew
Those
that?
those are actual. I've been an artist most of my life with several different mediums in art, which I used to sew when I was really very young. I started sewing, and then I picked up oils in painting, which is pretty difficult, but I just gravitated towards oils. I don't know why, because it's much harder really than than acrylics. But so I painted early, but nowadays with digital art, I think it's amazing too. And you have all these, I mean, it's actually, that is all of the art in the book, Miracle, is a digital art from
Wow.
my photographs. Because I started out as a photographer, that was my career after high school. So I was a portrait photographer, but school's over. I did all types of art, but photography during the early years. I had a studio in my hometown for 12 years. Um, and of course, I moved to North Carolina and I've been raising children. We have a lot of children. That's a really big job. And it's a hard job too.
Tell me about it.
So
There's
I'm
no
really,
instructions.
yeah, there's
Somebody
no,
needs to write the manual on that one.
that's right. And I appreciate all of the ones that have, because
Yeah,
there's a lot of good books out there.
there are.
And I gravitate towards those information books, but the the art in the book, in my book, are from the photographs of actual photographs of Miracle here as she developed it. The cover is, her the very first day, within hours of making the decision to pull her from the pasture because she would have died.
Oh, oh. Sometimes we have to make those tough decisions. I mean, having a granddaughter that is adopted, writing a book about adoption, how do you feel about your granddaughter? Even if she's not your blood, I mean, how do you feel about her? And then the book corresponding to her life.
I feel um, she's an exceptional child. The theme of the book is exactly how I feel, and I think a lot of writers, you can say, um, have written, what might even be a fiction story, but they had to draw it from their own life and their own experiences and their own feelings. It's just natural. That's the way it works. I think it's I think it's divine. Actually, I think it's God speaking through you, because it's when I write personally, and I'm sure that maybe most writers would agree, it's 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 the pain and the story and the passion coming through your brain to your pencil, or in my case with you know my, my computer. But I'm just glad that the story of Miracle came about to help any parents with young children of adoption. You have to make the decision: are you going to tell them?
Yeah.
And what's coming after that? Are they going
Yeah.
to feel, we all forget about adoption. All of us that weren't adopted struggle with, am I enough? Am I enough?
Or
And
is that
that,
really my father? Is that really
yeah.
my mother? I mean, really? I mean,
Really? Right. See, so there's so many layers. It's
yeah.
really a deep, deep issue that, that, and I think that with her, she's so unusually advanced for her age. She just popped off with the question one day to my daughter, am I adopted? Yeah, yeah. And what
Wow.
made her even think that? But there are some real differences, and she's a middle child.
Hmm.
But for any person that has to deal with, let's say we're, the answers being, not maybe the ideal storybook picture that you wanted it to be, they have to process that, and feeling acceptance first, acceptance of yourself, acceptance of your future, acceptance of all your siblings, your parents. Are you going to constantly play this idea that all of your problems are about the fact that you weren't this or you didn't come from that place. I mean, we all have that. Is that not relatable just in itself?
I mean, in a way it is, because that's your own stability, your own confidence levels. And I mean, as long as, and I tell people this, like, oh, well, why did that couple adopt the other couple from a different color? And I'm like, kids need love. Doesn't matter from where. They need
Exactly.
they need
And
love. They need
exactly.
love.
Because
Hmm.
Miracle, as the story developed with the baby, she had to adopt her the surroundings were now she was moved from the pasture to the barn. And in the barn is where I keep my horses. So she had to adapt to a new herd. And that they all had four legs, they were completely different than her. And they're looking at her like she's new. And it was her feeling accepted and them accepting her. And the whole process is so relatable. So I think that anyone that is dealing with the thoughts of either the parents or maybe an older, maybe an adult that was adopted, I think that my book appeals to. Well, I've had many adults tell me that.
Right. Right. So what's your personal connection to the subject of adoption?
Well, Fritzy, mainly having a grandchild, and also my husband, his grandfather was adopted, and he was adopted by his aunt, who died. Yeah, I think when his grandfather was 6 years old. That is a very huge factor in the
Yeah.
family here. We're a really large family in a very small town, and in North Carolina. And his grandfather's story is really a interesting story, and I think it molded my husband in a way that is so beautiful, in that he is so accepting of um, people, all people. And I mean, it's a beautiful thing, acceptance. And he
Yes,
is
it
that.
is.
And he's very loved, and he should be, because he is that person, genuinely.
So how is Miracle today?
She's fine. She's with the herd, um, released back into the herd, which we didn't know how that would end up. But she's fine. And the story of Miracle, I hope, will touch the lives of so many, you know, parents and their children that were adopted, because I think that it opens up all of those conversations.
Wow. What's new for you? I mean, in Miracle, any new projects? I mean, what's going on? What can we
Well,
expect?
with the farm here, I have swans, quail, chickens, and 5 horses and 1 dog. And there's always a animal story going on here. So I thought, and I actually have a duck that is in the pen and has been for almost 3 years, because a snapping turtle snapped off his foot. Now, he's disabled basically. So I had to
Oh
remove
man.
him from the pond. We named him Long John because he's basically has one peg leg, but there's a really sweet story in that, because ducks normally live for about 5 years. This is a white Pekin duck, kind of like well, exactly like the Aflac duck, just
Okay, I got you.
a big white duck.
Uh-huh.
And he's now about 8 years old.
Wow.
And the likelihood of him not survive, well, I had to pull him out because of, he would have died with his
Yeah.
injured foot. But I mean, the foot is, the webs are gone, the toes are gone. So anyway, so I photograph him often. He has a girlfriend now, and she's been living with him for the last 3. Anyway, it's a great story. So I'm thinking Long John deserves a story too.
I think so too. I want to know where this relationship is going.
Right. She seems to really like him. So,
Oh my gosh, that is too cute. That is too cute. So, people can get a signed copy of Miracle, a birthday story. And also you have a plush toy version of Miracle?
I do, and it's such an
Really?
unusual animal because bison have the big hump and they're big head and heavy in the front, and when they're little they do too, and they're also orange. And when they're orange, and that particular stuffed animal is about 12 inches tall, soft. Oh my gosh, it's so soft, and children love that thing. And I know why, because it's got curly hair. Just tell you, the thing looks just exactly like Miracle did look, because Miracle changed quickly, because when they grow up, they get dark and hairy, and they're
Yeah.
completely different. But
Yeah.
as a baby, that thing is just precious. So yeah, on my website, you can get the book in soft or hard copy, and I can sign it if you go to www.myheavenwood.com, and that way I have the ability to sign it. It's also offered on Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you so much. Let me ask you a question, and I know this is going on in the minds of all the kids around there, around town, around the world, because I'm a big kid. What's the temperament of a buffalo really like?
Oh, they're
I'm
so
sorry, not a buffalo. I'm
interesting.
sorry. What's the temperament of a bison really like?
Yeah,
Are they
buffalo
nice?
bison.
Are they?
They're they're such interesting animals. I love them so much. Okay, so they're very bossy, and they get whatever they want here. I mean, I'm telling you, the reason you don't see people that raise cattle popping up with bison is because they can pretty much walk through any fence they want. So a bison has an attitude, but when you give them what they want and they're happy, they do, they pretty much act like most cattle. And they don't try to get out, and they don't try to walk through the fence. But I do have 3 ponds here. They like to swim. They like they do like attention. They have, they'll lick you. They have a really rough tongue, like 100 times rougher than a cat's tongue,
Oh,
and it's black. It's so sweet. I mean, they're just, and yeah, I don't get in, I don't go in. They're wild animals.
yeah.
They're not exactly warm and cuddly, but um, the fact that we had the gift of Miracle, the baby, because I always wanted to, touch them. Well, you don't get to touch them.
Mm,
And so we did, and that was such a gift. I mean, it really was. It was just a beautiful thing.
wow. I just had to ask. I mean, because it looks so cute. I'm gonna put that picture up on the screen so you guys can see it. The little bison right there. Look at the little cuddly little bison toy right there. So cute. That I wanted to know, are they that cuddly? They're really not.
Well, you really don't want to be, they're just
Yeah,
so strong. They're
yeah,
just very, very strong and big. I mean, I'd
yeah.
say I have 6 bulls, and they're probably each one of them 2,000 pounds, up 1,500 to 2,000 pounds.
No, no, you don't want to hug them. Just get your toy.
I
Just get the
would have,
toy.
if I'd have known this was on video, I would have been out there so that you could see them. If we do another Zoom, I will
You
be
want to
out
go
there.
out? I mean, I'll wait.
I'm like,
Oh, there you are.
oh, good. You can
Hey.
see me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going. I'm working on a big baby shower. So there's a kind of a mess in my house.
That's
We're
okay.
I'm doing a party on Saturday, but let me get my shoes and walk out here, see where they are. I may have to jump in the mule. This is a big place. They're usually at this time of day. If I was on earlier, we'd be I'm gonna have to drive down there.
Oh, this is so cool. I'm in a little car. Hey guys, we're in the car. We're gonna be driving. Oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Wait till you see the size of their head.
Really?
Oh, yes, their head is huge. Let's see. We'll hit this car up. I'm pretty sure they're going to be down this way. I'll turn the thing around so you can see where I'm going.
Okay.
Oh, there's beautiful lighting right now. The
Oh,
lighting is perfect.
this is great. Oh, it's so pretty.
They're gonna come. So get ready. They all love you.
I'm here.
Can you see them?
I can see them. You're frozen. Okay, there you go. Because you were frozen a second ago.
Oh, sorry. Because they come. They're like they're thinking about food.
Ah,
Talkie, come over. Come over and meet Yaya. Can you see them?
I can see.
Are we frozen?
No, you're good.
Okay.
You're kind of you got, but you're good. Oh, she's frozen now. No, no.
Timber.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
There's Tonka up front. Timber behind him. They're all related too.
Oh wow.
Then to the left is Tillman, Coco. Now the smaller ones are females.
Oh my gosh, they're huge.
Oh, he's got to pee. Well, okay. Just first podcast, and you had to do that, right?
Of course. Claiming the territory.
Come over here and talk to Yaya. Come on. She's like, come on. I should have brought food. Come on. Come over here. Come on, let's go towards the gate. If they think I'm going to let them out, which I do occasionally, and walk them over to another pasture, because there's that's the other thing that you give bison that they have to have, is they actually do have to roam. It's part of their psyche. They must do a cycle every day. So they have about 70 acres fenced in here that they can roam.
Mm-hmm.
Come here, big boy.
Oh my gosh, look at how beautiful.
Come on. Here you go. Here you go. Say, yeah, I was raised here. He was born here, so, and he knows my voice.
Oh,
And they actually have gotten out just 3 times. And that would be a disaster if they wouldn't follow you, because they will follow me, you know?
right.
So, so we have had to, use my voice and the Kawasaki mule thing that I'm driving, and drive to, get them to follow us back in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a tree fell on a fence, opened the fence up, and they just
Wow.
curious.
So
Yeah,
which one is actually the book Miracle about?
Oh, which one? Where is Miracle out
Yeah.
here? Okay, where is she? Hold on. Well, she's real young. So, standing behind, right over here. I don't have a good view of her, but smallest one, horns are about this big.
Oh my
Can you
gosh.
see?
Oh.
So she's acting like that's her mama. Isn't it sweet? So come here, sweetie, come here. Yeah, they grow fast, and they're very, very unusual. Different than cows in that they're, they just are. And they seem to love me in a certain way. I wouldn't just jump in there, and because if they just do the slightest move with their horns,
Yeah.
the power in that big head, wow, it's hit me before, like here, and oh, that hurts. I mean,
I know
really
it
hurts.
does.
So,
Well, they're
yeah.
hungry, but thank you so much for taking us out to see your my gosh, the bison are huge.
I
Oh my
know,
gosh.
right?
They're
So, yeah,
beautiful though.
thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. I love them. I do. I love them so much. And they're amazing animals.
Yes, definitely. So now I'm waiting for a white duck, a story of a white duck,
Yeah, Long John.
and the relationship between the significant other of the white duck.
Yep. Okay. You got it. There's my dog Cyrus. He's a Siberian Husky. He likes to watch bison, don't you? And I've got some chickens and some quail. So yeah, I have a lot of stories to tell. But the Long John story is, I think,
it's in there. It hasn't come down to the actual book yet, but it's rolling around. It's in here.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. And then you're gonna have to walk us all the way out to see the actual duck. Because now you've started a trend. You can't like not do it now.
No, that's true. I'm gonna
Oh
do it.
yeah. Well,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much, Wendy, for being on the show. I appreciate it. And thank you for going out of your way to show us your bison and the baby miracle.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, dear.
Thank you. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to have all that information about Miracle and I mean, just the baby, the birthday, all of that, just right there in the description box below. So it's easy for you guys to go ahead and get that for yourselves. And if you have any children that are adopted, just remember that love conquers all. And until next time, guys, bye.